Hi guys, different clothing, different place, very important subject. I decided despite the fact that I'm not out on my adventure today to make a short video. And I was up here in Wat Palat, one of my favorite temples west of Chiang Mai anyway. It's a nice place, I'll show you a little later. But just to keep track on subject here, my daughter, she's coming down here to Thailand along with my son in 2 weeks time, and I just realized that I might follow up on all these questions I've had during the 11 years I've been living here as a conclusion to this little conversation I had with my daughter. She's spending a fortune on medicine, on vaccines and whatnot, because when she's going to stay here for 9 months, she's so afraid of contracting all sorts of diseases. I understand that. Most people, they tend to obviously react on fear and buy and prevent accordingly. I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you. Oh, competing with cicadas. That she did not confer with me first, but her doctor said that the mosquitoes, and every single one of them, they can kill her. And she reacted to that and has got a lot of medicine. Now, I'm not a doctor, and this is very important for me to emphasize. I don't want any of you guys out there taking my advice for granted and saying, all right, the guy down from Chiang Mai, he knows. What I'm about to tell you is my personal experience. It is what I have learned during my 11 years here and my almost 40 years within bushcraft. I do not believe in medicine. And whenever somebody comes down to me and say, well, Lars, we're going to Thailand, we're going to Chiang Mai, we know it's up among the mountains and the jungles. Do we need malaria pills? Well, the first answer is always, if you feel like it, do it. Because at the end of the day, if you come down here and you're very, very in panic in terms of these mosquitoes, and every single itch you little get, you are thinking, oh, this might be me on the verge of contracting something bad, then you won't have a good time. But honestly, I've been here for 11 years, and as a person who spent most of the time out in the jungle whenever I get the chance, I've never contracted anything. And I do not have any vaccines whatsoever. But the side effects, well, they say they're rare, but they're there. And I've got a lot of people come down here who've been taking their pills and they felt sleepy and docile and not feeling up for much when they did it. But other side effects mentioned, if you read the Wikipedia or other places, is like headaches, diarrhea, it is abdomen pains and vomiting. And honestly, who want to go down to a holiday and suffer from all those because of a what if? Because here's the trick. You can take the malaria pills, but you're not guaranteed not to contract malaria anyway. It is a very, very slim chance that you will get malaria if you do have the medicine. But fact is, it is not a 100% bulletproof thing. I read somewhere, and this is a dangerous part, that what actually happens when you take the malaria pills is that you change the signature of the malaria disease so that it can be even more difficult for the doctors to verify that that is the reason you're sick. Because what happens is they'll take a blood sample and put it on a glass plate and under a microscope, and then they will look for this specific pattern that is the signature of malaria. But if you have had some malaria prevention pills, that structure is changed, not to the extent that it cannot be verified, but there is a slim risk that you might be diagnosed wrong, which means that you will still have your malaria and you're not being treated for it, which potentially can be even more dangerous. But all this aside, if you take the normal precautions when you're out in the jungle and out and about, there are really not much there's a slim chance that you contract any of that. First off, most of these kind of diseases are mostly found out by the Burmese border. You're very much in panic, don't go anywhere close to those places. If you walk out to the jungle and in Chiang Dao or Chiang Mai or Phayao or Lampang, Lamphun, wherever, in this northern part, you might even go to Uttaratit and Loy, it's not a problem. You have dangers even in towns and in jungle. You cannot really avoid that if you're very, very unlucky. But most of the time, mosquitoes, they are being annoying. not because they bring diseases, but because they make these irritating humming and because they bite you. So if you first off cover yourself up, well, you're already on your way. And secondly, you can use various remedies. You can use DEET, which is a chemical version. I wouldn't prefer that one, but you can do. That will scare most of them away. And you can use natural remedies. And here's a good point. I mentioned this in another video, but once I had a trip down in Kanchanaburi as a tour leader. I had a group of visitors going out on rafting in the river, and that was very close to the Burmese border anyway. A lot of mosquitoes in that area, obviously. And one of the girls, she came back after that trip counting 84 mosquito bites. Now, I was along with them all the time, and I did not use excessive amount of mosquitoes, repellents of any kind. I didn't use any at all, actually. And they did very much indeed. And they ended up having those bites anyway. She was afraid that she got an allergic reaction and was very worried. Now, I have a theory in why that happened, that I did not get bitten. And my theory goes that most of these natural remedies that you use for mosquito repellent is with citronella. And here in Thailand, most of the food you can get that is good with lemongrass. So if you eat tom yum goong, if you eat tom yum blah, if you eat some salad with lemongrass, if you eat anything with these kind of things, my theory is you actually take in the repellent, eat it, and eventually out in the jungle be sweating it. So at the end of the day, the risk of being bitten by anything is obviously higher if you go out in the jungle, but to contract any diseases, well, as I said, 11 years spending most of my time in jungles, I haven't had any problems. I suppose most people won't. So my personal preference is don't. And the reasons, I told you. But as I also said, if you feel happy taking it, you feel insecure, unhappy not doing it, well, it's your choice. But just to give you a little look at where I am, there we got the monk sitting in that area there, and the stream is flowing from up there all the way down. And let me turn around a bit here without falling into the water, and there it is, and the view of Chiang Mai just over there, and it's just lovely. I don't know, this is a winding road. It's about 4 kilometers up the mountain. That's all it is, and you're in a beautiful spot like this. I'll tell you the story about this temple on another video. I'll do the hike up to the Wat Patat Doi Suthep, which is the big temple at the top. And while doing that, I'll tell you a little funny story about this. Anyway, just wanted to give you the heads up on this one. Just remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm a passionate wildlife guy, wilderness guy. And I've done things and survived it. I believe I've done it the right way, but it is everybody's guess. But being my daughter, I'm really interested in making sure she's going to have a good stay here. There's no reason to walk around with a lot of extra problems when I already know how to prevent all these problems. So there's no reason to take medicine if there is no danger. All right, take care, guys.